My boyfriend loved me deeply. He never looked down on my broken family. After the college entrance examination, he tore up his acceptance letter to a top-tier university, cut ties with his parents, and dropped out of school to work odd jobs to put me through college. During his hardest days, he worked 7 jobs at once. Exhausted, he would hold me in his arms and say, "Baby, I will give you the best of everything. When you graduate, we will get married. I will make you the happiest bride." I was so moved that my tears fell like pearls. Yet, in the end, I abandoned him without hesitation. I cheated on him with a wealthy heir who pursued me aggressively and left him behind. 7 years later, I was drowning in debt, living in poverty and misery. During the day, I worked as a waitress in a small restaurant. At night, I sang at a bar to make ends meet, 24 hours a day. I barely allowed myself 5 hours of sleep. I could not afford to stop. Debt collectors called every single day. No matter what I said, they only hurled insults and demanded repayment over and over again. Even putting food on the table was a struggle. Then, a news notification popped up on my phone. Tech mogul Qi Jing returns to the country today with his independently developed court technology, his entrepreneurial team, and his technology patent certificates. Qi Jing. At the sight of that name, my fingertips trembled. I could not help but tap on the notification. A video began to play. Mr. Qi, foreign media have called you the light of Chinese technology. You are the pride of our nation. We all want to know what made you give up your tenured position overseas and bring your top team back to the country. On the screen, a man in a well-tailored dark gray suit stood tall and straight, his features cold and sharp. "I am sorry, but this concerns my private matters. I cannot answer that." His gaze pierced straight through the camera lens, as if falling into a distant void. His thin lips parted slightly, his voice low and magnetic, cold and restrained. Even though it was a noisy press conference, he was completely unaffected by his surroundings. His eyes were old and calm, unwavering, staring straight into the depths of the lens. It felt as if he was looking through the screen, through layers of people, and straight into my eyes. I clearly met his gaze. My heart clenched violently, as if caught in an invisible net. The person who had once been so close to me now stood in the clouds, receiving all the glory, his cold gaze looking at the camera, at everyone in the world, but never again looking at her. Half sunken in the mud, I lowered my head in shame, my fingertips turning white. The reporter in the video smoothly changed the subject and continued the interview. I turned off my phone and did not watch any further. Qi Jing, my ex-boyfriend, in high school, his grades were excellent, always ranking first in the grade. Yet this man, who lived on a pedestal, one day, said he liked me. He tutored me, took notes for me, did my cleaning duty for me. We agreed to be together after we graduated from high school. I lived up to expectations and got into a university, but my parents adamantly refused to let me go. I always knew that my family was not well off, and I also knew that they were biased. But I never imagined that they would rather give money to my younger brother for a trip than support me through college. I had a huge fight with them at home and stormed out. I stayed outside for a long time. No one came to look for me. It was Qi Jing who sensed something was wrong from my voice on the phone and found me. After he learned what had happened, he did not hesitate for a moment. He told me firmly, "Study hard. Don't worry. I will take care of the money." Later, he tore up his own acceptance letter. When his parents found out, they hit him for the first time and even threatened to disown him if he walked out that door. My heart ached for him. I gently touched his face, tears streaming down, overwhelmed with guilt and at a loss for words. He supported me through 2 years of college. Then, that thing happened. In the video, he was the center of attention, his eyes holding the indifference and detachment of someone looking down at the world from above. He was doing better and better, a world apart from me, covered in grease and grime. How wonderful. He deserves to be surrounded by flowers and applause, to walk on a path blooming with flowers, receiving all the admiration and praise, not to rot in the mud with me. That night, I dreamed of the past. It was raining heavily. Kijing was waiting outside my dormitory building, wearing a faded, washed-out jacket. Soaked to the bone by the rain, his hair plastered to his forehead. Panic filled his eyes. He held my wrist tightly. His voice humbled to the dust, choked with sobs, pleading earnestly, "Wan, please don't leave me, okay? I don't have money now, but I am really working hard. I will definitely earn a lot of money in the future and give you the life you want. Just wait for me a little longer, okay?" I coldly pulled his hand away from mine and said mercilessly, "Look at yourself now. You have no dignity left, like a dog. I love the aloof, untouchable you from before, not this poor, wretched version of you. What can you give me now? You can't give me anything. Stop holding me back." Kijing's eyes turned bloodshot. He knelt down in front of everyone, begging me. Kijing, who was so proud, knelt down in public, openly, unshamelessly. No. I instantly woke up from the memory. I barely slept that night. The next morning, when the alarm went off, I practically sprang out of bed. My small cubicle was barely 6 square meters, and turning around was already difficult. I hurriedly put on my faded, washed-out clothes, splashed some cold water on my face, and did not dare waste any time on breakfast. I grabbed my keys and rushed out the door. I hastily unlocked a shared bicycle and pedaled toward the restaurant. I ran into the restaurant doors out of breath, the minute hand almost hitting the mark for being late. I made it just in time. I did not dare waste a single moment. I quickly slipped into the small staff changing room in the back of the restaurant. It was only about 2 or 3 square meters, cramped and filled with clutter, the air mixed with the faint smell of cooking oil. It was the place designated for employees to change their clothes. I closed the small door behind me, and only then did my tense nerves relax a little. I treasured this job very much. Even though I was just a waitress, the pay was decent, and it was the best job I could find. I caught my breath from running, straightened the collar of my uniform, and walked out of the staff room. As I walked out, I heard a deep, magnetic voice. "What kind of signature noodles do you have here?" I followed the sound and saw a figure sitting by the window in the main dining area. A broad-shouldered, straight-backed silhouette that was particularly eye-catching. I put on my standard smile and quickly walked over, bending down to introduce each option. "Sir, our signature noodles include deal with shredded pork noodles, sour soup chicken gizzard noodles, and spicy braised pork intestine noodles. These are the most popular ones among our customers. Which one would you like to try?" He lowered his head and said nothing. "Sir? Sir?" He looked up. His expression was cold and distant, his eyes calm and still, like a stranger. "I'll have a bowl of eel with shredded pork noodles, please." My smile vanished instantly. I froze on the spot. It was Kijing. His voice from yesterday's video. That low, restrained "I'm sorry, I can't answer that," was still echoing in my ears. And today, he was standing right in front of me. How could he be here? He was supposed to be sitting in the clouds, looked up to by tens of thousands of people. How could he appear in this cheap, run-down little restaurant? I looked down at my rough, faded waitress uniform, pathetic and humble, and of all places, I had to run into him again here. Luckily, he did not recognize me either. I realized I had lost my composure, quickly adjusted my emotions, and smiled. "I'm sorry, sir. Could you please say that again? I didn't catch it just now." Kijing's gaze swept over me briefly. A bowl of eel with shredded pork noodles. My hand, holding the notepad and pen, paused. Eel with shredded pork noodles were my favorite. Back then, when we were poor, he would not even buy them for himself, but he never let me go without. No matter how broke we were, he would always bring home a takeout order of eel noodles. We would sit in our cramped, stuffy rented room and share it bite by bite. He always picked out the eland shredded pork and put them in my bowl, telling me to eat more. Okay? I held back the bitterness in my eyes and instinctively said, 1 bowl of eel with shredded pork noodles. No scallions, extra cilantro. As soon as I said it, I froze. Jing hated scallions but loved cilantro. I hated cilantro but loved scallions. In the past, we would always silently swap the things we liked into each other's bowls. Jing pressed his lips together, a storm of complex emotions swirling in his eyes. He asked casually, "You seem to know me very well." I quickly denied it. "You are mistaken, sir. We have a lot of customers here, and everyone has different tastes. But when it comes to the eel noodles, they almost always ask for no scallions and extra cilantro." My answer was flawless, leaving him no room to argue. After I said that, his mood visibly dropped. He said, his tone low, "Oh, really? I thought we might have known each other before." I was so scared that I immediately protested. "How could that be? How could someone like me possibly know someone like you?" He fixed his gaze on my face, quiet and deep, as if hiding thousands of words. "Someone like you? What kind of person are you?" Our eyes met. My gaze was calm. "A nobody not worthy of your concern." He did not say anything else. His eyes swept over my hand and stopped. "You are married." I looked down at the cheap ring on my finger, the one I bought to avoid unnecessary trouble. My smile deepened. "Yes, sir. I have been married for many years. I also have a child. My husband loves me very much. We are very happy." His lips pressed into a thin line, his expression suddenly turning cold and sharp, his eyes barely containing a barely suppressed anger. He exuded a cold, unwelcoming aura. "Sir, is there anything else you need?" He did not speak, and I prepared to leave. As I turned away, a faint, cold sneer curled at the corner of his lips. His voice low and dripping with sarcasm, yet it landed clearly in my ears. I pretended not to hear and walked calmly to the kitchen. Every word I said to him, I pretended to be calm and indifferent on the surface, but inside, my emotions were churning violently. I forced myself to stay composed and did not dare look at him again, afraid that my eyes would betray my agitation. I did not know if he had recognized me or not. Perhaps he had. So what? We had already gone our separate ways. We were as different as clouds and mud.